Well, Colin, welcome to the program, and great to see you, and a big smile on your face because in your neck of the woods anyway, there's no rain and the harvest's going really well, and you're looking forward to possibly a really good season price-wise.
Here we are at the start of February. Full on. It's a full-on month for us arable guys. Look, on our own farm, we've been harvesting since early January, so it's a busy time, and we don't want any wet weather. Bring on the sunshine.
Of course, your friends, your colleagues in the north will be feeling somewhat less ebullient, if you like.
I know my arable colleagues up in the North Island, the Northland, Waikato Bay Plenty have really been hammered with the wet weather, especially on the maize crops up there. So, yeah, it's not looking good up there, but inherent variability of our climate, I suppose. It's what we're all faced for. So, I suppose the harvest is cracking on pretty well, Mark. We've got to remember last year was probably one of our worst harvests on record. So hopefully we're looking for a really good harvest, and onwards and upwards.
Now, I'll quote you here that you've never seen prices quite like the prices you're getting at the moment.
That's right, Mark. It came on the back of the poor harvest last year, so we've had really good prices for any grain and seeds on the spot market. A lot of us typically contract at the time of planting, so a lot of our contracts for the 2023 harvest are actually probably some of the best prices we've ever had. So we haven't quite worked out where the spot market's going to be. I suspect it'll, like all markets, it will potentially come off a bit of a high, but it's unknown. Who knows? We've got this whole Ukrainian situation still brewing along. It just creates that whole supply-demand implications. So I guess the story there, Mark, is we really need a good harvest with good weather. So harvest only happens once a year, and we need to supply the grain and seeds for the whole year.
Oh, well, it's great that it's been going so well. I mean, some of the prices, can you reveal some of the extraordinary jumps?
Yeah, well, for example, Mark, back last year, leading up to harvest, we were getting about $4.30 a tonne for wheat, and the same grain and whatnot. This year we're getting about $6.50 a tonne. So that's about a 50% increase in prices. And that's just because there was a shortage of poor quality wheat.
But of course there is a flip side, isn't there? You get the big prices doesn't mean you're banking it all, because the costs have gone through the roof as well.
Well, that's the other part of it. It's that margin in between the costs and the income. Certainly the fertiliser prices are at all-time high. Interest rates are cranking up too. So, a lot of the mortgage rates were sort of around that 3.5%. Some of the people coming off those interest rates are probably going to face, up to 7 or even a little bit higher. So that's a doubling in interest rates. So when you've got, some of my farming colleagues have got very big mortgages in the millions, that makes a significant difference. So there's probably three big costs on a farm is interest rates, the cost of fertiliser, and labour. They're the three big ones. So we've got all three are going higher, or high. So we need that higher income to combat those higher expenses.
With the terrible weather in the north, and as you mentioned earlier, the harvest there is obviously pretty tough. Does that affect overall in terms of what the yields will be, or what does the north supply different areas, or how does it work?
Typically in the North Island, it's maize is the crop, and it's maize silage. So there's about 1.2 million tonnes of maize silage grown in New Zealand. So look, just before Christmas, I did a bit of catch up with my maize executive up there, and they were sort of thinking about 30% down. But by golly, with this latest rainfall, it could be up to 50% down in the area. That's pretty significant. Some of the growers had actually had to replant their crops up to 3 times. So that all comes with an extra expense. So the maize silage it goes into feeding dairy cows. So
yes,
there potentially could be a bit of a shortfall. There will be a shortfall. We're still trying to work out how we can manage all that. It could be displacing with some more imported feeds like the palm kernel and that sort of thing. So we're going to have it's been on our radar since about mid-December, this one, Mark, and by golly, they've copped it again.